Well, I hope that you're as excited as I am as we're about to kick off on yet another road trip. Now, this truck, this Cybertruck, is owned by EVject, who of course sponsored a Make-A-Wish Foundation event here in Celebration, Florida, the Exotic Car Festival. And on Monday, we were also out at the track in Daytona. And what's pretty cool about that is they got to do a bunch of hot laps. Some of the kids from Make-A-Wish were out there, got to ride whatever car they wanted to. This was one of them, and we just had a great time. But now this truck needs to make it all the way over to Long Beach, California for an event out there. So let's take a look, because it's quite a haul to get out to South LA from here in Orlando, Florida. All right, so looking at the map here, taking a look at the entire trip, we have quite a haul in front of us. I believe it's something like a 24, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. 23 charging stops on the plan here. And I'm sure this will make some adjustments as we go. I'm not going to sit for an hour at any of these superchargers, so there will be more charging stops, I can tell you already. So it's going to be interesting to see how this works out. As you can see, our trip down here, 912 watt-hour per mile is what we ended up doing, towing this thing down here, plus all the driving we did around here and racing around the track. So this will be interesting to see how this shapes up. And as a matter of fact, before I forget, let's reset that now and change this over to Long Beach. All right, save. And looking here, our first stop is definitely Ocala. And I believe the total trip here is about 2,600 miles total. We're here on the west side of Orlando, headed straight up to Ocala. And looking at the stops for today, my goal would be to make it to somewhere near, this is, I believe, the Buc-ee's stop right here in Robertsdale, Alabama. So somewhere around there, basically get out of Florida is the goal for tonight. And hopefully we can make that happen. Right now we're sitting at 36%, should arrive in Ocala at 6%, so I got to take it easy, make sure I don't consume too much. It's about 60 miles away though. So with that, let's get this trip going. Well, unfortunately, this is one of those few times where I am stuck waiting for a charger to be available, because this one right here being tied up like that would suggest, yeah, this is probably not functioning right. So I'm going to have to wait here for, I'm not sure how long, hopefully not too long. Only had to wait for a supercharger maybe 5 times in my entire life. So this one is another one. So add this to the list, hopefully not too long. Get plugged in. I'll give you an update. It is 5:50 p.m. right now, so we'll keep an eye on how long this takes to get plugged in. And here we are at 5:53, so maybe 2 minutes, and spot has opened up. So 2 minutes, not terrible. Let's get pulled in. It is a V3, so we should get full charge, but this is completely full, so let's see how this goes. All right, taking a look at the numbers here. 59 miles, 58 minutes, 444 watt-hour per mile. It wants us to be here for an hour basically, and I'm not too keen on that, but let's see if there's a good reason why. Let's see. It wants us to go, oh man, there's a lot between here and there. So it wants us to go all the way here to Madison, Florida, but Lake City is a V3. I am going to add that as a stop. Let's see what that changes our charging time to. 15 minutes. So that may even be too short, but let's get plugged in, see how this gets going. We are in the Wawa parking lot, so might grab some dinner while I'm here also. Alrighty. Let's get our EV Ject on. And not ramping very fast. Well, this is not good. I'm gonna have to move stalls. Somebody just pulled out, so I'm gonna try a different stall because this is not right. Ruh-roh. Something not so good is happening. I don't have any errors or anything, so I'm not sure what the issue is here. So, not so good. Well, I guess I can try it without the EV Ject. That was not an issue traveling 2,400 miles this way, but who knows? Let me try. Nope, that is not the issue. Oh man, something's not right here. We're just gonna have to monitor this and see when it kicks back on. Something's really not right though. It is a little bit faster now, but this is a V3 site, so we should not be having issues with like derated charging, and that's going at 2 of these posts. I'm not sure. Just gonna keep an eye on it, I guess, and see when it kicks up. Well, pretty much not awesome. We are down to 16 kilowatt charge rate. It was all the way down to 14 at one point. So we got to figure out what the heck we're going to do. We got to get out of here. I did confirm it's not just us. It is the station as a whole. So people are having issues charging at a fast rate. So something's going on. And man, doesn't happen often, but when it does, that's not fun. So let's see what we can do here. Gainesville, I think that's a V2. Yeah, that's a V2. Here we go. North Gainesville. This one is a V3. Let's add that stop, edit, and remove the other one that I had. There we go. All right, looks like 2 more minutes of charging, it thinks. But let's see what the percentage is because, yeah. I don't know what is going on. This is not a good start, though. Yeah. Man, even updating this trip is taking forever. What is happening? Oh, my goodness. This is crazy. All right, there we go. So 3% as it sits right now. So this is going to take a while even just to get to that one because 22 kilowatts. What the heck? All right, well, it's 39 miles away, so I tell you what, I'm gonna eat my dinner, which is a turkey sandwich, and after that, then we will unplug and hit the road. How about that? Maybe this thing will kick back on by the time I'm done eating. Probably not, but let's do that first. All right, that's it. I'm calling it 26%. I cannot sit here any longer. We're getting 12 kilowatt right now, which is what I get at home. So should arrive at 7%. I will take it easy if I have to, but we're just going to go. Should be there in about 37 minutes in North Gainesville, which is the new V3 charger. So I'm going to unplug now and get to Gainesville. Pretty simple. Disconnect. And that's it. All right, so we're here in Gainesville, and I forgot I have been here. It's actually, even though it's a Burger King parking lot, it's actually like a beautiful spot. Most of Gainesville kind of looks like this, and it's one of those areas that's very full of huge oaks and very thick, I guess, brush in between. I don't know. It's just gorgeous here. Anyways, supposed to be here, assuming it works right, for 25 minutes to get to Madison, Florida. And this is a V3, and this one's an interesting charging because they have the pull through slots where you can pull forward, I guess not through, but pull forward slots I guess if you have a trailer, but there's a curb, so only one of those would really be good for a trailer. And then a couple here and a couple right over there, but nonetheless, 8%, 518 watt-hour per mile on that last little jog over here at 39 miles. Gonna go ahead and get plugged in. Let's see if we have much better luck than we did last time. Yep, people just, every time, never fails. If you want privacy, don't get a Cybertruck. Just saying. All right. Much better. That looks more normal. Very good. I'm glad that was a thing at the last stall. Now, interestingly enough, one of you actually reached out to me on X and said that you were just at Ocala a couple days ago and had the same issue. So this has actually been going on for a few days, which is shocking because usually when there's an issue with a charger on the Tesla network, it's fixed like really, really quick. So that's why reliability is so good, because they fix it before an issue really is in the way of somebody charging. So at this rate, 25 minutes here, which is great. And then we'll continue on to the next charging stop. All right, and that is it for charging here. Charge a little bit too much, but I appreciate it when y'all want to talk at superchargers. Might be able to skip Lake City. We'll see. What's the next one that we could go to that's a V3? Nope. What about... Well, we should be already going to Madison. Is that where we're headed? No, we're headed to Lake City. Okay. But it wants a 35-minute charge to make it to Madison. Interesting. We'll play around with it. That was to Madison, probably too far. Without Route 79, maybe it's not too far. Let's add it. Let's see what happens. Looks like we could make it at 18%. It's only 90 miles away. So yeah, we're going to do that instead of going to Lake City. So we'll fix that now. Head over to Madison. Be there about 18%. Might even be able to go even farther. What's after Madison? Lamont, Florida. Let's add that one. Let's see what that does. It wants us to stop at Madison for 5 minutes. So, how far is Lamont? 100 miles. I bet we could make it to Lamont if I could just get it to not stop in Madison. Basically, once this says 0, I guess, we'll go for it. Because this says a 5-minute splash, and then that would get us to Lamont at 10%. So maybe we'll give this a few more minutes. It says 3 up here anyways. We'll get a few more minutes. Try to skip Madison altogether. Hit Lamont. And then we're still on track for Robertsdale, close to 2 a.m., which is still the target for tonight. All right, we're here. Like I said, we would pass that supercharger. So we're at Lamont, Florida, and this is a newer one. It is a V3, and I do prefer this one over, I think it's, I don't even remember now. Whatever. The other one is in a side parking lot with the dirtiest bathrooms of all superchargers in Florida. So let's be here for 25 minutes to make it to Chipley, Florida. It's only 105 miles away. We're here at 10%. Last leg, 115 miles, 62 kilowatt hours, 533 watt hour per mile. So a little bit higher than what we had previously, but I expect we're gonna still see some of this update over, I'd say, the next couple of charges before this really zeroes in on what we're gonna arrive at. So I was able to pass an entire supercharger without issue, and that's going to continue to be the case probably for 2 more charges, and then it'll be fully calibrated, so to speak, and have a really good idea of how far we need to go, which is interesting because when we took off, the truck itself, as soon as I plugged in that trailer, it knew how far we were going to go, and within 1% we arrived. So it was really dead on with the trailer without even knowing what kind of trailer it is. So this will recalibrate here shortly, but with that, let's get plugged in and take advantage of a quick restroom break while we've got it. So pretty successful charging stop here. I cannot show you everything that's going on, but the Cybertruck is bringing out brand new charging curves, and they're getting better every day, but that also means that they are putting out a lot of heat to accommodate all that power for so long. And EVject is working on a Cybertruck specific EVject or breakaway device just like this. It'll look just like this, but it'll be specific for Cybertruck because of the amazing charging curve in this truck. And to do so, we need data, and I have been measuring charge port temperatures, and so this will be something fun and interesting to keep an eye on to see just how hot that thing gets. And I measured 184 degrees at this stop, which is pretty crazy how hot it actually gets. But enough of that, we are done charging. Let's take a look here at what's next. So our next stop is Chipley, Florida. It is, I believe that's a V3, yeah, Chipley, Florida, and it is 105 miles away, about an hour and a half. I am at 63%, arrived there about 17. Gonna go ahead and unplug now and hit the road. All right, and we have arrived here in Chipley, Florida. Supposed to be here for 35 minutes this time, and that'll get us 136 miles to the next stop, which is Robertsdale, Alabama. That is a Buc-ee's. So this is kind of where I thought I might stop, around that area. So we'll just see. I'm gonna start looking at hotels at this stop. We're in a Burger King / gas station parking lot, and here at 14%. Total of 105 miles, 58 kilowatt hours, 550 watt hour per mile on that last stretch. So efficiency, not so great. It's definitely been higher these last couple of runs, but I don't know exactly what's contributing to that, to be honest with you. It's not wind. It might be temperature a little bit. We're down about 10 degrees now from earlier, but yeah. With that, let's go ahead and get plugged in here and get our charge to make it to Robertsdale, Alabama. All right, so that is the conclusion of another successful charging session, although this one was a little bit slower, but I guess I didn't mind. I had something to eat for dinner, like a salad or something. So now we're sitting at 75% and have a 2-hour drive to get to Robertsdale, Alabama, and 136 miles to get there. Should arrive about 9%, it thinks. So let's get rolling now. All right, so here we are at the next stop here in Robertsdale, Alabama. As I said, It is at a Buc-ee's, and if you're gonna have to go to a Buc-ee's charging stop, this is the time to come. There's nobody here, and that's one of the things I do not like about the Buc-ee's stops is there's so many people. This particular one, they actually have traffic control uh, sometimes when I come through here, so pretty crazy. 135 miles, 75 kilowatt hours, and 555 watt hour per mile. One of the things I'm noticing here, the car continues to refuse to stop at this low of a state of charge, which is not that low. It is very hard to get this car to naturally, on its own, navigate to a supercharger that's maybe a little bit farther than it would like. So in the Model Y, I constantly arrive at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5%, no problem. Here in the Cybertruck, it really does not like getting this low. And finally, by the time it switched over to allow me to go here via the navigation, it had an arrival of 11%. So something even higher than that, and it would not, no matter how many times I tried to adjust it, would not naturally come to Robertsdale. So whatever. Anyways, supposed to be here for 20 minutes, and here's the good news. I actually did a good thing. I booked a hotel before midnight. Can't believe it. Almost never do that. Always forget. So that is booked. That is our next stop, and we will be there a little bit after 2 o'clock in the morning, and it's like not too far off the interstate, but it does have a Tesla charger. It's got a number of Tesla chargers. I've actually stayed here before, um, but it's right by the ocean, and there's like 6 or 4 Tesla chargers there, so hopefully they're not blocked. But the good thing is the supercharger in that area is the next supercharger we're supposed to stop anyways. So what I'm gonna do is charge enough to get to the hotel and get to the supercharger with, say, maybe 15-20%, just to have plenty of buffer in case those chargers are blocked and I can't get the charge I want. Now if I can, we're going to save a charging stop, which is pretty awesome. So we will find out here in a couple hours. Let me get plugged in and stretch the legs. This is our last stop for the night. So let's get this thing going. All right, so there we are. We are charged well more than enough. Should be 28% at the hotel and then another 26% by the time we would make it back to the supercharger if we indeed have to supercharge. So we won't know until we get there if a charger is available, but we will arrive at 28%, meaning if it is available, we could have a full charge by the time we wake up. Here at 68%, 85 miles, an hour and 16 minutes. Gonna go ahead and unplug now and finish off our driving for today. So, bit of good news here. There are plenty of chargers open, even though there's one person who is icing a spot, and of course, it's a Mercedes. It's usually a truck, or it's always like a BMW or Mercedes. One of those two. Crazy. Anyways, I don't know why they think that's cool, but whatever. Let's plug this in because I want to see what kind of charge rate we're getting. But before we do that, let's look. Last little leg there was 84 miles, 44 kilowatt hours, consumed 525 watt hour per mile. Let's get this thing plugged in real quick because I'm very anxious to see what kind of a charge rate we're going to get here. Because these supposedly are outputting maximum power. So 48 would be awesome. Let's see. And sure enough, 48 amps. That is awesome, awesome, awesome. And then pretty standard commercial voltage there at 204. I am going to bump up the charge limit. Let's see what that would take. 8 hours and 40 minutes, and that is perfect because we would be out of here before then because of checkout. So I'm going to leave it there and let this thing crank out the juice. So that's going to be it for us tonight. 2:30 a.m. I'm going to try to get as much sleep as I can, a full 8 hours if possible, and that would put us back on the road by 11 o'clock, basically, local time. But it just works out better. There's way less traffic later in the day than there is in the morning. Yeah, and I just go till I get tired anyway, so it usually ends up being like this. So let's let this thing charge overnight, and I will catch you guys in the morning. Well, I woke up to what looks like a freaking tornado. There's even tree branches already laying on the car. This does not look so good, and I pulled up the radar just to be sure. Yeah, this is not so good. It's gonna be an interesting morning, and the wind is going to be blowing heavy around us until we get out of this, but hopefully it doesn't last too long. But my goodness, this is a storm coming in. On a bright note, I am sitting at 95%, which is pretty awesome. So we are down to 46 amps for some reason, but yeah, we got a really awesome charge last night, and this will allow us to make it to Baton Rouge with this storm. And you can see, look at the highway. My goodness, yeah, this is not so good. This is going to be a slow moving morning until we get through all this, so probably Slidell at least until we get through this. So it's going to be a pretty interesting morning for us, but we are sitting at 538 miles into this trip so far, 285 kilowatt hours and 530 watt-hour per mile. Be on the lookout for this watt-hour per mile to really go up here this morning with this wind, because these trees are just absolutely swaying right now. And there is a tornado warning. I did get the notice about that. So look at that. That's just nuts. So I don't know if it's actually funny or not, but some lady at one of the chargers, I think it was yesterday or whatever, she asked if it was a tornado tracking vehicle. So maybe it is a tornado tracking vehicle today. We're going to find out. Not looking so good. All right, a bit of great news here. As you can see, the sun is a-shining, so we are finally through the storms, And it's not too windy or anything on this side, so that's good. It's 78 degrees, so things are looking up at the moment, although I'm looking now. Is this a software update? Indeed it is. We'll have to check that out later. Because we weren't able to go super fast, although in the rain it was not the best efficiency, we did get 490 watt-hour per mile, 96 kilowatt hours, 196 miles, and that is because, although it wanted us to stop sooner, back here in Baton Rouge, I realized we had way more charge than we needed to get to Baton Rouge, so just kept an eye on it, and added Lafayette as our charging stop here. It's not a bad spot. It's in a shopping center, but there's dining options, and it's nice. Even at night, it's well lit here, so it's a good charging spot. V3, of course, and they do have pull installs too for those of you who are towing. So gonna get plugged in here. Supposed to be here for 45 minutes, and we might actually do that. I don't like staying that long, but I am very hungry. I didn't get to have breakfast, so I'm gonna get some food and kind of walk around a bit. So get plugged in here and come back with an update on the charge. All right, well, that's it for charging. Got back just in time. Chick-fil-A is so good. 84%, enough to get to our next destination, which is I think it's Belmont, is it? Yeah. So we will be in Texas here very shortly. Actually, once I get on the road, I might see if we can stretch this a bit, because we've got quite a bit of charge, and we're coming up on Houston, which is loaded with good V3 chargers. So we might skip Beaumont and head to Baytown. I think this is, yeah, that one's a Buc-ee's. Even this one might be, no. This one is not. Not crazy about going to Buc-ee's charging stops because they're too crazy, but we might skip and go all the way to that next one there in Baytown, which is closer to 200 miles away. So gonna go ahead and get unplugged, and we'll see how efficiency is and if we want to change this up. All right, so we're here to charge at 22%. As much as I wanted to keep going to get to the next charger, it was about 60 miles, and as you can probably see, wind out of nowhere all of a sudden. Now I have a headwind, a pretty big one, so I don't think consumption is going to allow me to skip this charger. So 136 miles, 73 kilowatt hours, 535 watt hour per mile, which is pretty good compared to what we've had, but there was some slower areas, and it was pretty smooth driving to get to this point. So supposed to be here for 25 minutes, and that'll get us to Sealy, Texas, which this keeps changing. So that's 120 miles away, so that's probably okay. I'm probably all right with that. So let's go ahead and get plugged in here at this V3 here in Beaumont, Texas. All right, and that is it for charging here at Beaumont. 69%. Should arrive at 18% in Sealy, Texas, 123 miles away, 2 hours and 12 minutes. Gonna go ahead and unplug now, make our way through Houston. All right, so we arrived, and the hot tip here is If you go past the Buc-ee's stop, you can come here where there's like 16 stalls and nobody here, and a little gas station for conveniences. So much better than going to the Buc-ee's, which is always so crowded. That was 130 miles, 73 kilowatt hours, 560 watt-hour per mile. Made excellent time getting here. So going to go ahead and get plugged in. Supposed to be here for 35 minutes to make it to Lowling, Texas, which I've never seen before, so have to look into that one. All right, so we're all done charging. Actually, charged a little bit more than I meant to, but distracted. That'll happen. 72%. 95 miles an hour and 26 minutes to get to Lowling, Texas, which, come on, is indeed a V3, a 16 stall V3. So this one should be new because I have not seen this before. Actually, probably really new. So anyways, gonna get unplugged here, make it to Lowling here very soon. All right, so we have arrived here, San Antonio, and that last stretch, 151 miles, 80 kilowatt hours, 531 watt hour per mile. And you will notice we are not where we're supposed to be. And that is because when we hit the road, I realized we have enough charge to get to San Antonio. So we skipped the charger, basically. You do this twice, and then you'll have skipped a whole charge, which can add up quite a bit in time. So I had to remove all charging stops to make this work, though, because it keeps rerouting. For some reason, Cybertruck has a really hard time letting me arrive at a lower state of charge, and it does not like that. So basically, I select the charger I'm trying to get to, and then I remove charging stops. We are here downtown San Antonio, so let's get plugged in on this nice little V3. It's a nice little area, too, so nothing really that close other than a couple bars. So we'll get plugged in, get this thing charged up for about 30 minutes. All right, we are wrapping up charging here at 64%. And our next stop, Junction, Texas. And I meant to spend time and look for a hotel, but I failed as usual. This next like 116 miles, just shy of 2 hours, should be there close to 1 a.m. So we did actually save some time here, which is great. I am going to unplug here at 65%, make it all the way to Junction, and I believe it's a V2. Yeah, so we've got some V2s ahead of us, because this is kind of that area. Now, Van Horn, I think, is a V3 now. Yeah, Van Horn got the V3. So that's the one in the middle of the nowhere that has a V3. So I'm going to go ahead and unplug here, 65%. Be there in almost a couple hours. So a couple of updates for you. I'm actually at the charging stop, but I've also booked a hotel, and it is on the other side of the highway right over here. So what my plan is to plug this in and then walk over there. I'll show you what I mean. Get checked in, drop the bags off, then come back and get the car. So that way I'm not losing a lot of time charging this, sitting here, not getting my stuff in the room, ready to go for the night, because I'm ready to get some sleep. Let's take a look here, because this was not a very good stretch because of elevation and wind, but I'll show you what I mean. All right, so arrived at 5%, which is good, and We did 116 miles, 70 kilowatt hours, 605 watt hour per mile. Probably the worst, if not one of the worst efficiency runs so far, but we're starting to get into that part of the country where there's consistent wind, regardless of if there's a storm or not, and elevation changes are going to start having an impact. So that's how that went. To get to Fort Stockton, it was going to take an hour and 15. I mean, it's like a full charge is what it wants us to do because it's 200 miles away. And if you look at the map, between here and there is one stop in between, and that is that new supercharger. It is a V3, and that one is only roughly 90 miles away, something like that. So in reality, you want to stop here and just top off enough to get to Ozona, but we're going to go to Fort Stockton in the morning. So we're going to get this plugged in, and then here across the street, I have booked the hotel. So I've got to basically just walk under the overpass, and then my hotel is like right here somewhere. So it's a Holiday Inn Express, I think, just right here. That's it. Let's get plugged in and stop chatting and grab my bags and walk over to the hotel. Good morning. It is a beautiful morning. Lots of traffic around here. It's very different at this charging stop in the morning than it is at night. I guess it's not really morning anymore. But anyways, I came over to the charger to top off one more time while I got some breakfast. And I'm sitting at 98% to make it to Fort Stockton. So let's take a look. Gonna be a good day. So like I said, 98% and Fort Stockton, 197 miles away. It says 14% on arrival. About 2 hours and 40 minutes to get there. Should be there about 2. Now, unfortunately, because I needed to sleep, it's going to be super late at night by the time I get to Arizona. 2 hours behind us, so about midnight it says. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully I can shave some time. But yeah, gonna hit the road here, get our way up to Fort Stockton, and then getting closer and closer to being out of Texas. Alright, so here to charge. Actually changed things up a bit because I want to see if something works really well or not. We're actually at an Electrify America station, which is not usually ideal. However, the 350 station here, in theory, should be able to give us an idea of max charge rate of the Cybertruck. So that's what we're going to do here. That last trip, though, 197 miles, 111 kilowatt hours, 562 watt hour per mile, which is impressive because we were doing 80, 85 miles an hour for that trip. Now, for this stop, we need some special hardware. This is the Tesla version. So this is Tesla branded right there, their CCS adapter. That's where this comes into play. The EV-Ject will actually allow you to plug into CCS. So it kind of overrides that issue and allows you to charge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this up. I'm going to put this in service mode so we can see what's going on the screen. And we're going to plug this thing in and see what happens. All right, so I've got a camera set up on the screen to keep an eye on things for service mode. So let's start recording there. That looks good. And let's grab our adapters and let's activate this charger and see if it's gonna work. Electrify America, come on. I need you to pull through for me on this one. All right, so let's get this bad boy on, and then let's get our EV Ject ready, and then we can come over here and try to plug this in, try to take you with me, and let's find out if we're gonna have luck here. Now I've got to activate this thing, so let me get my phone out. Station 2, start charging. Okay, hearing some sounds. Okay, it says it's charging, so let's take a look. How are we looking in here? 77 kilowatts, not great. Let's go back into service mode here. 116 amps, so amps are super limited right now, so that's not so good. So what we'll do is I'll give it a few minutes to start charging up, but this truck has been pretty solid on taking full charging rate it can accept at these low states of charge, so I don't think that's going to be the issue here. Man. Okay, so after several minutes I swapped over to a different cable, had to redo everything several times before it finally started working. So there's 322, 323. Come on. Well, that seems like that was the peak there, somewhere around 325. I'll have to look at the camera that's set up recording to see what it ended up hitting. Unfortunately, we were already at 5%, but I don't know what the problem was to get this thing to work right from the very beginning. But there you have it. This thing is charging way faster than it would at a Tesla supercharger, which is great, because when V4s come out, they'll be able to support these and be able to charge at these high rates. And then you'll have obviously the integration and user interface and reliability of Tesla charging equipment to go along with these high states of charge. But this is pretty cool. All right, so we have dipped below 100 kilowatts, which is when I'm going to unplug. Looks like it was right about 60 to 61%, that changeover. That's when it dropped below 100 kilowatts. So starting this charge where we got actually 800 volts was at 5%. And my understanding is 2 to 5% is the max charge rate. So I do have to try this again later when I can do the same thing I did. I pulled up with almost 0%. I tried very hard to get this just right, but yeah, that's just how it goes sometimes. So what I'm gonna do is unplug and I'll come right back here and we'll see how far we have to go for this next stop. You know, it's just frustrating because I did everything right. I got there at the right percentage, but I just knew that those chargers were gonna let me down, and sure enough, they did. No surprise. Yeah, I mean, people have charged on those 350 units from very, very low states of charge, just like I did. So I don't think that's the issue, but now I know. If it does have an issue, unplug immediately. Don't wait for it to try to ramp up and get to 5%, because then you just missed the window. So I'll try again and again if necessary. I really want to see over 330 kilowatt charge rate if possible. 350 would be amazing. I don't think that it can do that yet. But the charging curve is enhanced because I was looking at a chart from somebody else that did this recently, and the thing about their chart is they dip below 100 kilowatt like super early, and we made it all the way to 60% before dropping that low. So you can see it even in charging on the Tesla network that the charging curve is enhanced, and we just had a tweet the other day that a much bigger enhancement is getting ready to roll out, and that's the beauty of all this. But the V3s that are out there today continue to charge at a better rate for the Cybertruck, and that's the good news here. So let's try again in Van Horn, Texas. That's the next stop. I'm gonna try to make some magic happen. All right, here we go for our second attempt. Let's see if we can make this work well. Gonna start recording this service screen. Let's get this thing activated and adapters plugged in. All right. Let's see some magic. All right. Starting to charge. See something really good. Come on, come on. No, don't stop, don't stop. Okay, so that's 2 in a row actually, even though the last one, a proper charge didn't start till 5%. So 323, I think I saw a glimpse of 324. That's the max. But if we watch this charging curve, it's looking quite a bit better than what we have been seeing previously from other people. So that is a major plus. Between 80 and 85%, it climbed up, and then now at 85%, it's right back down to where it was all this time, back in that 77 kilowatt charge rate range. So interesting observation nonetheless. But I think with that, it is time to unplug, and I'll show you where we're going, because we're going to go a little bit farther than what was originally supposed to be next. We're going to drive through El Paso and just straight up skip it. So I'll show you that on the map here in just a moment. Let's get unplugged first. There we go. Get all the magic. Uh-oh. Now that's gonna shut. I gotta unlock that from inside. Let's pull the Tesla adapter off. There we go. Okay, so El Paso was the next stop. However, I'm gonna go all the way up here instead. This here is a newer V3. We're gonna add that and see if it can figure this out, that I don't want to stop at El Paso, but of course it doesn't seem to be able to figure that out. So anyways, this is about 166 miles away, so I should have enough charge to get there. And the closer I get to El Paso, I'll try to keep on, you know, hit edit trip and done, and try to get it to recognize we have enough charge to get to Las Cruces. So we'll try it, hit the road, keep on making progress. We arrived at like 13%. It's a brand new V3 here in New Mexico. I have no idea what that place is, but apparently they've got some food. And yeah, we're behind that and like in a weird spot. There's a truck stop over there, Burger King, and another truck stop. And so, I mean, there's stuff around and it's close enough that you could walk to. It's not a terrible spot. But anyways, 228 kilowatt sitting right now. It wants us to charge for an hour and 20 minutes, which we're not going to do. So let's take a look at what our options are. So looking at the map, Deming, I wonder why Deming fell off of the chart here. And why is it not a V3? This is a different one, huh? Interesting. Okay, I know which one that is. So it wants us to skip that one and hit Willcox, which is also a V2. But how far is Deming? It's not very far. So that would be why. And this one is 190 miles. See, this is like out here in the middle of nowhere. There's these gaps that make it not the most convenient, because I don't want to go to either one of these, but it's kind of what we got to work with. How far is this one? In Tucson, that's also a V2. 72, there's the 250. Add that to the list. I think we're starting to make some progress here. And coming up here into like Chandler-ish. Yeah, well, this will be our last stop of the night. Something like that. So that'll help me keep tabs on where we're at, how far we've got to go. It is 9:10 p.m. Eastern, 7:10 Mountain Time, and this thinks we would arrive in Tempe at 2:55 a.m. So another hour off would be 1:55 p.m. Man, we lost a lot of time somewhere. I'm not sure where, and I'm not sure what happened. But where is Eloy? Okay. Yep. We lost some time. Anyways, we're going to let this thing sit here and charge up for a bit. Get some dinner probably. And then see where we're at on the charge. See if we just want to roll out and hit the Deming, New Mexico one for a few minutes and then keep going. We'll figure it out here. Just a little bit. 164 miles, 82 kilowatt hours, 500 watt hour per mile. All right, and we are done charging. I just got done filming a quick little video. I don't have time to edit, unfortunately. I wish this thing would have been more clear. I have to stop at Deming no matter what I do here. So it's kind of frustrating because I wouldn't have charged nearly as long. So I got to stop at Deming to top off, which is frustrating because that added time. Anyways, with that, next stop is Deming, New Mexico, and it's only 57 miles away. And should be there under an hour, about 9 o'clock Mountain Time. So I am going to go ahead and get rolling, and I'm just going to pick this up over there because I'm kind of in a rush now with this video I'm trying to pump out real quick. So I just need to get there and get the laptop out and kind of go from there. All right, so it did update actually, and I could make it to Willcox. However, one of you was going to meet me at the last charger, and things didn't work out and you missed me by like 5 minutes, and I feel really bad. So I went ahead and added Deming to the stop again. 0 minutes to charge, but I'm just going to plug in anyways, whatever. I'll plug in and chat it up for a couple minutes and then get right back on the road. Alright, so that's it for the last leg there. We are in Willcox, Arizona. Supposed to be here for 35 minutes to make it to Eloy, Arizona, which is the last charging stop for tonight before we make it to roughly where we're headed for the evening. That's not the actual address, of course. 132 miles, 70 kilowatt hours, 528 watt hour per mile, plus I think about 50 miles, 55 miles, something like that, maybe even 60 with that stop in Deming, New Mexico. So anyways, I'm supposed to be here for 35 minutes to make it to Eloy, which is 137 miles away. V2 in the back of the Holiday Inn Express parking lot, and right over there is the truck stop, which you can walk to, but that's about all there is out here. So I am going to get plugged in. Let's keep making progress so that we can be done driving for the day. All right, well, as you can see, I've got a video almost done. It is downloading now, and we are done charging almost at 100%. So here a little bit longer than I wanted to be, but I can now go straight to my destination, which is great. So we're going to get moving here about 2.5 hours, 175 miles. So quite a stretch to get there from where I'm at right now, but should be there about 2 a.m. As expected. So I'm going to go ahead and unplug here in just a minute and get moving. Well, I have finally arrived. It is 2:20 in the morning, and definitely feeling it right now. Feeling pretty tired, but I am here, and it is time to get some rest. But let's take a look at where we're at so far on this trip. We have like 8 hours left to go, including charging, to get to Long Beach. So let's take a look here and see what's left. So that last stretch there, 173 miles, 85 kilowatt hours, 491 watt hour per mile. Our total trip so far, 2,100 miles, 1,127 kilowatt hours consumed, 534 watt hour per mile. And what we have left is, I believe, three total charging stops to get there. And it's 2:20 a.m. right now. Says we would arrive at 10:15 a.m. So that's 8 hours basically, including what's this, an hour and 35 minutes of charging to do that. So not too bad. Gonna be messing around in the area for a little bit tomorrow in the morning, or I guess later today, really. And so we'll be here having some fun for a little bit, not for too long, because I do have to make it there at a decent time. And then the next day is Tesla Owners Club of SoCal. They're having an event, and this truck will be there for that event. So I will get to hang out for just a little bit at that event before then heading to the airport and flying back home and taking a pause from road trips for just a little bit so I can recover. So with that, I will catch up with you tomorrow. I don't know exactly what time, but sometime in the afternoon, I will be back on the road and we'll pick this up right there. All right, well, it's time to get right back on the road and head to California. Had a great little bit of time here. Wish I had more time, but that's just how it goes. So leaving Phoenix here, and I was able to charge during lunch, so I'm sitting at 96%, pretty full, healthy charge. And let's take a look at what's in front of us. I think I have two charging stops or something like that. But let's look over here at the map and show you what we got. So this first stop will be in Ehrenberg, Arizona, and I have no idea where that is. I usually stop at this quartzite site. Is actually, they just built a brand new site there on top of the old one, actually just right around the corner. It's huge. I really wanted to see that, but looks like I can make it to Ehrenberg at least 163 miles away. Could probably make it farther unless there's some wind issues. And then next one in Indio, California, which is a pretty standard stop. And then we'll be in Long Beach. I haven't picked a hotel yet, but that's the address for the event. So I will be headed to that general area, find a hotel, and tomorrow have some fun at EV Fest for Tesla Owners Club SoCal. 163 miles, 2 hours, 45 minutes. Be there about 6 p.m. at 13%, leaving at 96. And welcome to Ehrenberg, Arizona, the last exit in Arizona before California. Supposed to be here for 25 minutes. It's in the parking lot of a Best Western, and there's like a Flying J over here, so there are amenities to be had, which is good. Consumption is very high. It is super windy out there. 20-mile-an-hour winds, 553 watt-hour per mile over 163 miles, and 90 kilowatt-hours consumed. So pretty strong consumption there with those winds. So it's supposed to be here for 25 minutes. That'll get us to Indio, California, which should technically be our last stop, but it won't be, because once I get real close, I will top off for the event. So getting very close here on the map. We are just now about to pass into California. There's LA down in Long Beach. So let's go ahead and get plugged in, and I'll pick this up when we're all done. All right, as I'm taking my last few bites of dinner, 65% charge. We have enough to keep going. 19% on arrival in Indio, California. Hour and a half, only 101 miles. So not far at all. Let's go ahead and get unplugged and hit the road. All right, we're here in Indio, California, and as soon as I pulled in, I remembered this stop because it has the dad's version of a TJ Maxx in the parking lot. So I don't know if you can see that or not, but Home Depot, Lowe's, man, it's a bad idea, especially if you have a while to charge, which we do. That last leg there, 100 miles, 53 kilowatt hours, 532 watt hour per mile. Super windy, but we were downhill this time, so that made a big impact and helped a lot. So 40 minutes is what it says, 131 miles away. But I'm gonna book the hotel while I'm here. So try to find something on the route and close to the location. And maybe, if I'm lucky, a place with charging on site. That would be good. But worst case, I'm going to top off somewhere like maybe this one right here. Nope, not that one. But you get the idea. We'll stop somewhere on the way in with a V3 somewhere, and we will top up as needed. So I'll figure all that out. Let me look for a hotel, get plugged in, get charged at this really big and nice charger. Tons of stuff to do here. lots of places, but tons of stalls. Go ahead and get plugged in here, and we'll get charging. All right, so we're all done charging up here. I did add a top-off location close to the hotel. I'll be staying at the DoubleTree, kind of by Disneyland, I guess. Really good rate there, but we are topped off here at 77%. After adding that stop, the next charger to top off, we should arrive at 22%. 110 miles to that charger. I'm going to charge deep, and then I will go to the hotel and finally get to bed and get some good sleep tonight. That's the plan. So almost done here. Get there, and we'll be charged up, ready for the event tomorrow. All right, so that is it. This is the last stop for us to just top off in Anaheim. I'm 2.5 miles from the hotel, so really close. But I am going to give this a nice charge, maybe like 80%, so we're good to go. That was crazy mountain pass with wind, but ended up averaging down to a 541. But it was in the mid to high 700s for most of that until we got into the valley here, so that was pretty crazy. Total trip though, 2,504 miles, 1,341 kilowatt hours, and 536 watt hour per mile. And now for those of you who are used to miles per kilowatt hour, that is 1.87 miles per kilowatt hour, which is not bad considering, so 10 miles an hour over the speed limit, and out west it's just really high speed. So not terrible for this trip overall. This thing drives so great. It's so comfortable, and I'm excited to see what the future looks like, because people claim this is not a road trip car. This is absolutely a road trip car. It's very comfortable, very easy to maneuver, and as charging continues to get faster for this truck, this is going to continue to be a home run for many people. And I realize and understand that not everybody who's buying this truck is a truck person, and that's okay. This is an amazing vehicle that does so many things so well, and that's what's so amazing about it. So I do hope that you enjoyed. I am excited for tomorrow to get to this event, and I'm also excited to get home and spend some time there for just a little bit before I start traveling again. So I hope you enjoyed, and I cannot wait to catch you on the next one.